Hello students, today I am going to start history lesson sources, and in today's video you will learn about types of sources, and in that the first one, literary sources and its types.
Sources. What is history? History is the subject which studies past. Who studies the past? The historians study the past. How do they study the past? Historians collect the informations, then they critically examine them, analyze them, and finally they write history. What are these informations? These informations are the sources. So, what is the definition of a source? Human beings have used many things since ancient time. If the things used by human beings in the past have remained, they are called sources. What are the different types of sources? The different types of sources are as follows. Literary sources. And in literary sources, we have two types. The first one is written literature and the second one is oral literature. So let us study in detail about these types of sources. Written literature. So the literary works which are written by the scholars are called written literature. And these written literature or the literary works give information about social life, and they tell about the economy, they tell about the condition of women, and like this they give information about the past. And this is very important source of history. And in this written literature, two types are there. The first one is native literature. The literary works created in native languages by the people. So in India, there are many different languages spoken. So these native literary works or written literary works can be in Sanskrita, Kannada, Tamil, Marathi, like that. In different languages, we have different written literature or different native literary works. So here few are there. Kautilya, who was also called Chanakya, he wrote Arthashastra, which gives information about economy, social life and administration. Then comes Banabhatta's work, it is Harshacharita. And this Banabhatta's Harshacharita tells in details about Harshavardhana's rule and his military achievements. We have one more work here, that is Prithviraj Raso, written by Chandvardai, which tells about the famous ruler Prithviraj Chauhan. What are the drawbacks of this written literature? The drawbacks are sometimes the writers who are in the court of that particular ruler exaggerate the achievements of the ruler. Then they do not write anything against that ruler, and they are so loyal to the ruler that they never write anything against the ruler. So even the rulers do not encourage such literary people. So this is the main drawback of native literature. They exaggerate the achievements of the ruler. They are little far from the reality. So these are the drawbacks of written literature. The second type of literature or written literature is foreign literature. So the name foreign itself tells that these literary works are not written by the native literary people or they are not in the native language. Then who wrote these literary works? Literary works written by foreigners who visited India. Why did these foreigners visit India? See, since ancient time, India was famous for the learning centers like Ujjaini, Nalanda. We had many universities in India, and to study in these universities, many scholars would visit India. They would stay here for many years, like some 10 to 15 years, they would stay here. They would visit many kingdoms and they would observe the social economic life of Indians, and then they would write the literary works in their own mother tongue in foreign language. So these type of literary works are called foreign literature. So few examples are given here. Megasthenes, who visited from Greece, he wrote a book called Indica. Huan Tsang, a Chinese traveler, visited India and his book is Si Yu Qi. And these books, they give the information about our country, our rulers, our society, administration, literary centers, like that. They give information and even they are the sources. What are the drawbacks? Like native literature, even foreign literature has some drawbacks. So what are they? These people, foreigners who visit India, they did not know about the culture. They did not know about the rituals. They did not have any information about Indian traditions. So, while writing the literary works, these people, they could not give importance to our rituals, culture and local rituals. So, these are the drawbacks of foreign literature. So, now you studied about two types of literature, foreign literature and native literature and their drawbacks. Oral literature. The second type of literary sources is oral literature. The name itself suggests that it is passed from mouth to mouth, orally. The folk stories, folk songs, ballads that pass from one generation to another. So, they are the main examples of oral literature. See, in the historical period in ancient time, the people, when they did not know about reading and writing, very few people were literate. So, the other people who were illiterate, they would pass the information from their generation to next generation in the form of folk story or in the form of folk songs or in the form of ballads. So, we have many stories, many folk songs, and we don't know the authors of those folk songs. Then who wrote them and how do we know about these folk song or folk story? From generation to generation, they are passed from one mouth to another. So, these are also the sources of literature and they are called oral literature. Now, we have many informations or many folk songs about our local heroes. Heroes like Kumara Rama, Sangoli Rayana, Nayakas of Chitradurga, Kitturu Chennamma. So, if you take your Kannada language book, in every year you will be learning about one or the other local heroes or one or the other Janapada Geete. And these Janapada Geete, they give information about their life, their rituals, their tradition, but they do not tell anything about the author. So, this is the importance of oral literature. And there are some legends also which tell about mythological characters and mythological stories. Whenever we visit some places, the guides tell us about the importance of that place. For example, if you visit Gokarna, Gokarna has its own story. How did Atmalinga of Shiva come to Gokarna? What did Ravana do? What did Ganesha do? So like this, we get the story related to that place. So mythological stories are also related to different places, and these are told by the legends. So each place, each historical place has its own information or has its own story, and they are told by this folk stories, folk songs, ballads and legends. But they are not at all in the written form, but the localites, they tell about this information, and these are called oral literature. In the absence of written literature, the historians, they depend on this oral literature.